Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Jorge for inviting me to this, to this. I am your non-musical intermission because I'm not a musician. A little about myself and why I fell into this space. Um, um, I'm probably the oldest person in the room, maybe, maybe not. But um, like Jorge said, no, most of my career was spent in the music business. Um, but I am not a musician. I don't know anything. I can't play an instrument. I cannot sing if it were to, if my life depended on it. But I'm in the music business. The reason is that um, I love music. I grew up in a family of we're five siblings. My eldest brother was 10 years my senior. Yung sinundan ko, the brother, yung sinundan ko is like 5 years my senior. So you can imagine the type of music that I've been exposed to because we've all been listening to music from uh, everything my eldest brother was listening to. So yung mga kanina, like references to Herbie Hancock, everything, those are the stuff that my brother listened to. And um, so I have an eclectic taste in music, I guess. So I can listen to all sorts of stuff. Yung brother na sinundan ko, he was 5 years my senior nga. He was actually a b-boy. So a lot of the stuff nga rin na that was in the presentation kanina sounded, oh, I know that. Okay. So like Jorge said, I am a music business practitioner. I work in the music business for quite a while. Um, I started in the business in around 1990, where I started working with record labels. So these are some of the labels that I've been involved in the Philippines. You know, EMI, Sony Music. I headed Epic Records here, Virgin, and Warner Music. Um, so I did that since 1990. I dropped out of law school to pursue a career. Well, I just saw an ad in the papers and um, for a advertising promotions job in the record label. So I applied for that, and luckily enough, I didn't have to go back to law school. Okay. As Jorge also mentioned, I teach music business. So I guess with 20 plus years of experience in the business, there's something that I could share. So I started teaching in CSB in 2000. I teach the music business course. Um, so I'm the only, I think, ever since the program started, I'm the only music business teacher there. And then in 2012, I joined Mint College, where they offer a music business management program. So some of my students are here, or former students are here. Um, so in all my experiences, I've seen how the business evolved. I've seen how the business changed. What worked when I started in 1990, when I had to go to clubs and TV stations to pitch my our vinyl releases. Um, what worked back then necessarily isn't working now. So in all these changes, I thought, since I had all this experience, I'd like to be proactive, and I started a small startup that I call Distro Connect. I'll talk about a little bit of that later. So as Jorge introduced, yeah, I know stuff. I know stuff about licensing, royalties, publishing, marketing, promotions, etc. I know stuff about the music business, but I guess I didn't warn Jorge enough because the topic that I will be discussing is why business shouldn't matter. which is counterintuitive for a music business professor. I'd be out of a job. Okay, so, buti na lang wala dito yung chair ng department namin. Ganun pala, ha? Ayaw mo na pala ng music business. So, why business shouldn't matter? Actually, the inspiration, again, I blame Jorge for this. The inspiration to this talk was when I was sitting in, we do Music Business Week in CSB every year and every March, and Jorge did an electronic music workshop where he ran through his creative process, how to make music, etc. And this is all very novel to me, being a non-musician, and I was really intrigued about it. So I got inspiration. The actual inspiration for this topic was that presentation, that workshop. Why business shouldn't matter. So again, it seems a little illogical. Sa mga students ko dito, please don't tell Miss Aji, I'd be out of a job. But actually, truth be told, it's a great time to be a musician in the music industry. And, starting off with all the tools that you have, digital technology has democratized the way you create music. Okay. Back in the day, when I started in the music industry, when we had to record an album, we had to book a studio. An album would probably cost around like $500,000, anywhere between like 300 to $500,000 to produce, to record and produce. So now, you as creators, you have that advantage that digital technology has given you. Also, there has been no other time in our history in that artists and musicians have the power to reach not just a local audience, not just your local clubs, your community, etc. You have the power to reach the world. 1.65 billion users on Facebook, on Instagram, 400 million, etc. Twitter, all those social media platforms. Those are very powerful tools for a musician to reach out to a global audience. And yeah, true enough, it's doing very well. The music business, yes, it suffered in the mid to late 90s, of course. The mantra of the music industry was stop piracy. Okay. Actually, there are some older folks in the music industry that still have that mantra of stopping piracy. Please tell me what the plan for stopping piracy is, and maybe I'll believe you, but right now, I don't think we can stop piracy. Okay, but music, the business is booming. It's recovered. So these are latest figures for the music market in the world in 2016. Global revenue growth, almost 6%. Here's the most significant, I guess, data. 50% digital share of global revenues, meaning 50% of the revenues of the music industry comes from digital consumption. Okay. As far as revenues in digital in the music industry are concerned, 17%, upwards of 17% of growth of revenue from digital consumption of music. And here's another very interesting statistic. 60.4% growth in streaming revenue. So the mainstream behavior in listening to music is streaming. It's your YouTube and your Spotify. Okay, so that's the mainstream behavior. Okay, it's not physical anymore. Of course, there's a revival for vinyl, but that's a whole different story. But it's also encouraging that we're seeing growth in vinyl. Okay, so you'll see physical revenues are down, downloads. Okay, we never had a download market in the Philippines. Okay, all our downloads are illegal. But so download revenues are down. So even the business model of Apple's iTunes has been disrupted. Okay, so all those numbers, very encouraging for, if you're in the business, these are good numbers. You would bet on the music industry. Okay, that, okay, your your revenue position is good, it's a good time to be in the business. Business is booming. So why am I talking about business not mattering? Okay. Why then should business not matter in that scenario? I mean, business is good. Although primarily for record labels, business is good. So it's why then should I say that business should not matter in this? Because in this quest, in this to make sense in the ever evolving music industry, these are figures from 1973 to 2013. Those little colors down there represent analog, digital, physical sales, and digital streaming or digital downloads. So how, we want to make sense of all that. So why shouldn't we talk about business? This is, oh, sorry, it's a malabo na graphic, but this is a website from a website called Every Noise at Once. It tries to map all the genres available in Spotify and the other streaming services. So you will see all like different sorts of genres and that basically describes what is available out there. So for an independent musician, you have to contend with that, the different genres and the millions of artists online that essentially are part of your competition. Okay, and of course, it's yes, digital technology has democratized the way you create music, but digital technology, your equipment, your gear, it's not inexpensive. It's very expensive. So you want to try to figure out how to make a sustainable living, okay, and then try to monetize the fruits of your art. So why then should we not worry about the music business? Like I said a while ago, diba, we have all those tools on social media, online, that help you connect to an audience, that help you understand the audience. You have all those metrics that will tell you, hey, people like my music, all these likes, all these thumbs ups, all these shares, all these views on my video, all these plays on SoundCloud. It tells you a lot about your audience, the people who listen to your music. These are numbers that back in the day when we started in the music industry, this is how we did our market research. Okay, that's a hit. We had a strong, yung masyado kami yung bilib sa gut feel. Oh, I feel this will be a hit. But 8 out of 10 times we're wrong. We just like to harp about the 2 times that we're correct. Okay. So you have all those numbers and it's helpful. It's good information. But what I'm seeing right now, there is a danger that artists become slaves to these numbers. Oh, the questions that I get from some musicians or some artists who talk to me, how do I increase my engagement on Facebook? How do I get more likes? How do I get more plays on SoundCloud, etc.? Yes, because the information is there. It's easy to fall prey to the slavery of numbers. I'm not saying information, data, or data analysis is not important. All I'm saying, it's something, yes, you should understand. By all means, please do understand. If you need help understanding that, I guess we can help. I can help. If you're a student in St. Benilde or in Min College, chances are I'll be your professor and I can help you understand this. There are other people who try to help understand. This is Mike Constantino, one of our speakers in Music Business Week. He likes to, he positions himself as someone who mixes, puts in the science in the music business, and I think that's a very important aspect. We really have to be able to read that data, analyze that data, but please don't be a slave to that data. Okay, like I said, this is Distro Connect. We try to help artists. Actually, I like to think of what I'm doing as trying to help artists not worry about business. Let us worry about the business. Okay. Okay. So all these data, all these data information that is available for you, in order for you to understand your audience. Yes, it's fine that you should master them. It's fine that you get to understand them. Master them enough that you would know them like the back of your hand. Master it like it is, reading it is a simple exercise. Oh, okay, this is my engagement, this is our insights, Facebook, etc. It's a good thing to master, but master it to a point that it becomes second nature and natural. Okay. Master it, but go back to what really matters. Master all those numbers. Understand your audience. Understand your audience through the data that you get. Okay. But master it all, but go back to what really matters. And that is making your music. Okay. So like I mentioned, Jorge's talk in Music Business Week was the inspiration for this talk, because behind as a non-musician, I saw firsthand how the creative, how your, I think it's, for the most part, it's not just Jorge's creative process, it's a lot of the artists here, your creative process. It gave me a glimpse of how you create music. And it's very natural, it's very spiritual. Okay. Yes, your tools are digital, but between the zeros and ones of the digital lies an art that is organic and natural. Okay. What I saw in that demo is an artist, okay, pouring out, and an artist and everyone in that room pouring out a piece of their soul that hopefully, it will reach an audience that can feel that. So it's a natural process. I saw that process, how music was created, etc. It's a natural process. So why should our interaction with your audience be unnatural, be dictated by numbers, be dictated by insights, like shares, etc.? Okay. The data and information is important, but don't forget that those numbers represent real people. Okay. Soon enough, everything that that I, as a marketer in the music business and teacher of marketing as well, we try to understand engagements and how we all communicate and connect in the digital realm. All of that will be second nature to you. You guys are like digital natives. We are not. So we try to understand that. But for you guys, it will be second nature. It's like riding a bike for you guys. Okay. And actually, I see that happening already. And when that time comes, the digital connections that you make online become real connections with real people. Corporations have already parang latched onto that idea. Okay. I mean, basically, humanizing the bee. I just added this phrase. Remember that whole Jollibee, like 3 videos that they came out with, etc. That, was parang yung hugot, yung may kilig, etc. Brands, corporations are trying to humanize what they do. Musicians, of course, diba? Humans tayo eh. You relate in a human manner. You relate in a real manner. So make these digital connections, turn these digital connections into real connections. Again, well, the music business, like I said, I'm still open, I'll be around. If you have questions about licensing, publishing, contracts, etc., you can contact me on my Facebook, etc. I can answer. And it's the music business is a complicated world. Yes, it is a complicated world. you might need folks to help you understand all those complications. Okay. So yes, by all means, engage business people, engage people in the music business that will help you do that. Okay. The reason why I also thought of giving this talk is because in this room full of talent, it will be, it it's almost, well, I'm certain that people will approach you in your talent and say, hey, you know, you're really good. Let's make money. Di ba? Um, those are business folks. You know, they know how to make business. But if you were to engage these business folks, please engage, you know, these labels or these personalities managers, etc. Engage these business folks that really know where the value of your business lies. The value in the business, of the music business, is not anymore in what us business people do. Probably before, because we were the gatekeepers. The only way for you to connect for your music to reach the audience is through us. Without us, there will be no you. But that's not the situation right now. Okay? The true value of what you are doing, if you are to engage in the music business, the true value lies in your art. Okay? The true value lies in your art, and it also lies in your audience. They are the ones that you with your art, and them with the way they react to your art. That is where the value comes from, not from what us business folks do. So, again, I just like to emphasize, please, wag niyo kong susumbong kay Miss Aji. Business shouldn't matter. Focus on your art. Okay, focus on your art. Let the business folks do their job. Okay. Focus on what matters most. And that is your music. That is your relationship and the relationships that you build with your audience. Diba, you know, you make it as natural as possible. Diba? Gone are the days that, you know, okay, for us, for the audience to parang, for you to be able to um, realize yung, you know, the fruits of that relationship. Bibili sila ng CD, you know, in a record bar, etc. Or at your gig at like 250 or whatnot. It's not limited to that anymore. Okay. The true value is in your art, in your music, and in your relationship. So please focus on that and let business folks that really care about your art, that really care about about your music, let them figure out what to do with with your music. Of course, again, it still helps to know a bit about the music business, but that is secondary. Create good art, and create good art that will connect with an audience, make that connection real, and make that connection, and then the value will come out of that. Okay, so again, this is your non-musical intermission. Thank you very much for taking time to listen. If you have questions, let me know.